Good week so far. Got practice tomorrow, just to clean things up and then get ready to play. So I've liked the way they practiced this week. They've been focused. It was nice to get the extra day on Monday, just a little bit of extra work. But I think we're in a good spot. So it'll be fun to play Saturday night. We're looking forward to being in the Rose Bowl. It's going to be a great crowd. Should be great energy. And it's the kind of environment you like to play against and the kind of team you like to play against. So they present a lot of challenges. Offensively, they're very dynamic. They throw the ball all over the yard. They've got 3 really good running backs. They've got a young quarterback who's not playing like a young quarterback. He's playing like a veteran. So we've got a great challenge, and I think we're excited about it. So,
what impresses you most about Jared Goff?
His poise for his age and his experience, and his ability to get the ball out of his hand quickly and throw accurately. His decision making. I think he's a really good football player, and I think the one thing that is maybe overlooked is his mobility and his ability to run the football and get positive yards. He just doesn't, when you watch the film of him, there's nothing about him that says freshman. It says a guy that's poised and has played, and it's not too big for him.
Does the poise remind you a little bit of how Brett looked as a redshirt freshman last year?
I don't know. I'm not really into comparing guys like that. I just think he's a good football player.
You guys disrupt people using tempo on offense and everything. This is the same thing coming back to you guys. What's the challenge of playing this kind of offense?
Substitution is really the only challenge because we face it every day in practice, so we're used to it, and I think that's a good thing. We know how to communicate non-verbally. We have our hand signals. We're used to getting lined up quickly. We're used to the tempo. It's just that, you need to be able to substitute. And so what we have to do is be ready on the sidelines. When they substitute, that gives us a chance to substitute. And we have to be ready to move when they move.
This type of game that underscores that philosophy you have, that it's not so much the yards you give up, but the points.
It's absolutely the points. I mean, when you throw the ball as much as they throw the ball, they're going to get some yards. It's just the way it is. But as long as they're empty yards and not meaningful yards, and empty yards, I mean yards that don't result in touchdowns or long drives that result in scores, then, I've been a defensive guy my whole life, and I've never been a yard guy. It's about one thing, and that's points. That's all that matters is points.
What's else his status?
He was out here today working on the side. I'd say he's doubtful.
How's it with Marcus Rios and his status? Rios
for this week?
Just in general.
He's making progress. It's slow, but it's steady. He's got a lot of ground to make up. He missed a lot of time. He spent a lot of time in that hospital over there, and he's anxious to get back out here and play. But the first thing he has to do is be able to get out here and just practice and make it through, a normal practice without having any setbacks. And like I've said all along, I mean, we want Marcus out here. We love him. He's a heck of a player. But the most important thing here is his health. And I don't want to put him in a situation where he's going to get hurt because he's not ready. So we just have to be patient. And that's hard for him because he's dying to play. He's dying to play. But we have to protect him from himself a little bit.
With Jordan being doubtful this week, is there any more opportunity for Damian Thigpen?
Yeah, there's opportunity for all 4 of those guys, certainly. Paul will start. Steven will play. He's played well. We'll get Thiggy some carries. Malcolm will get more carries. It all depends on how the game unfolds. It always is like that. But we want to get all of those guys quality time. It's just a managing it. So.
How has Eldridge impressed you on the scout team?
The way he works and his attitude. Really, there's a number of guys that impressed me on the scout team this week, especially offensively, and they were all 3 freshman redshirts. Eldridge, Asante, and then Craig Lee. He just seems to, this week, have kind of accepted the fact that, he's going to redshirt, he is going to be on the scout team, and he's going to make the most of it. And I think, for a guy that's coming out of high school and that's always been a superstar, that's a little bit of a tough transition. But you see those guys really embracing that role, and it's an important role because they help our defense prepare. And if they can give us a great look and challenge us every play, it's only going to make it better for us on Saturday. So those 3 guys have stood out to me. Scott Quisenberry stands out to me. Colby Seibert always works his butt off on the scout team, but I love their attitude. That's what you want. That's what you're looking for.
Is there anything different that Paul specifically brings to the offense that Jordan might not necessarily?
They're both slashing type runners in between the tackles. Paul's a little bit one cutting downhill, a little bit more one cutting downhill than Paul, and maybe a less of the open field wiggle. Paul's the guy who'll put his shoulder down and get the extra yards. So there's some similarities in their effectiveness between the tackles, but the way they go about it is just a little bit different. I think they're both really good players.
Cal's offensive line likes to play back a little bit. Apparently, it's a little unconventional. Like, what does that kind of do to a defense? Does it in any way affect the approach to the game?
Well, the way they pass set is a little bit like the old NFL punt pro. It's kind of you're kind of giving ground and staying square, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, that's just their technique, and if it's effective for them, that's good. I don't know. It isn't necessarily, the scheme's not necessarily what's going to cause us the problem. It's that they've got good players up there. Now they're missing, their starting center, but their tackles are good players. So we just got to do what we do and contain the quarterback and hopefully get a little pressure. One of the things they do a really great job of, especially early in games, is getting the ball out quickly. And they want to give that young quarterback a chance to get comfortable. So we have to be ready to react to that.
Last year's game was obviously a learning experience for everybody, but was it especially one for Brett, given how it went?
I think that he had, every week was a learning experience, but there's a couple that really stand out to me, and that was one of them, and Baylor was the other. Just really opportunities for a young quarterback to handle some adversity and grow from it. And the important thing is that he does grow from it, and the impressive thing is that he did grow from it. And I think you saw it on display last week against Utah. When they were bringing all that pressure, and he was standing in there and he was handling it. And so, those are great experiences for him. But it was a tough lesson to learn, but it was a lesson well learned. So, okay, thanks everybody.